I was born in Lufkin, Texas, Angelina County, in December 30th, 1940. I grew up pre-1960s, so we lived in our area. We went to our schools. We participated in our churches. Carver was located off of Chestnut Street, and there is a business there now. There is no monument, no sign or anything. Garrett is not the Garrett that people know today. If you drive down Kerf Drive, you'll see something labeled Garrett. Our Garrett Junior High was on the opposite side, and it was a rock building. Our Dunbar High School was on the right side of what is now Martin Luther King, because only half of that area was developed. That left side had a fence and trees, and if you crossed it, you were over into the property of the Lufkin Country Club. In high school, I probably was a part of most things. We had what was home economics then. I was a member of the band. I played basketball at the time that we played half court, not like the ladies play today. Participated in track and field events, debate club, poetry club. I was even a part of the University Interscholastic League. All were conducted at Prairie View, A&M University now, but was then the college, because it was pre-integration. We really weren't seen as representing Lufkin. So every contest that my principal thought we could excel in, because the faculty were a part of preparing us. The community was a part of shaping us. We would go to the contest and represent our school and community. When I grew up, everyone felt that they were a part of helping you to be the best you could be. Not against others, but against the world which we would find ourselves. And if we were not great at what we were doing, then people would not appreciate us. So I grew up pushing always to do better than I had done the year before, and not accepting that I had to be just average. My parents worked outside of the home, but even though they didn't have a college education, they believed in education. And remember that Prairie View was introduced to us, Texas Southern in Houston. A lot of my classmates went to Javas in Hawkins. We had a principal who said, "You're going to school." So everything was done to get us ready. When I went to college, Prairie View, I remember my parents carried me and they left me. So I left Lufkin, where people were all about pushing you to be the best, arrived at Prairie View and encountered people who demanded the best. In fact, the director of our program never accepted excuses for anything. We were the only students on campus who would be seen running across campus to get to the next class, because our dean didn't accept that you couldn't be there on time. And so we grew up knowing our schedule commanded our attention, and you just stayed focused and did your work. And I guess that's part of why I push students. And so even though we were students, everybody expected us to be great when we graduated. I guess most of us lived up to that, as many of my classmates went on to do very exciting things. My principal from Dunbar High School had moved to Wichita Falls and was principal at Booker T. Washington. When I graduated, he said, "We have an opening. You need to apply." And so naturally, I applied. So those were interesting years, and met a lot of people, learned a lot from them. I enjoyed working in the community, but I was looking for some other way to grow, and decided that I needed to do something different. That's when the decision was made to join Peace Corps. When I got the information, I thought, why wouldn't somebody want to go serve, learn? They interviewed the teachers in Lufkin. They interviewed my colleagues in Wichita Falls, because they were very serious about getting people who would not only represent our country, but would do what they were expected to do. And finally received the letters, and we went off to Baylor for 3 months to prepare. The most unusual experience that almost kept me out of the Peace Corps. We all had to learn how to swim. I didn't know how to swim, so I had to make up my mind I was going to learn to swim or I couldn't serve in the Dominican Republic. I don't particularly like water on my face, so I learned to float better than I could swim. That meant being on my back and keeping my head, my face out of the water. And the instructors finally said, well, if she can float that long, somebody could probably get to her. But they were convinced that I would not drown and I could be saved going into that situation with water around her. So I did what I was supposed to do and left there feeling that they could carry on. And that was the goal. So it was a wonderful experience. Even though we were poor and didn't have much, we had a lot more than they did. And when you look at where they were living, because very often they were living out of cardboard homes that they had built and patched up, and they were doing the best that they could. My sister and I would go to Kingsville in South Texas to spend my summers with my grandmother. Then we would leave and come back. And so when I arrived there and saw all of these business owners who were African Americans, that was an introduction to what could be and how they were doing better and pulling together. After the Peace Corps, I selected the University of Pittsburgh because it had a very good reputation for international work and affairs. I selected public health nursing because I could build on my foundation, but I could be ready to be a complete community development person. I came home like 1 month, and the next month I was going to the University of Pittsburgh. I stayed, and the School of Nursing offered me a job to teach because my mentors had decided that I needed to complete my master's. I worked there and taught there only 1 year, and then decided that I was moving in a different direction, came home, got married, and they were building Angelina College. I probably would have stayed a little longer, but several states relationships that just wouldn't work. And so I came home. My parents said, well, if you can teach nursing at the University of Pittsburgh, you can teach nursing at Angelina College. They opened in '68. I came home in '69, and I started working at Angelina College. We have a long history together. We've been through a lot.
God gave me blessed consolation that my trials come to only make me strong. I've been a lot of places, and I've seen millions of faces, but there were times that I felt so all alone. But in my lonely hour, yet those precious lonely hours, Jesus let me know that I was his own. That's the reason I say
the first president, we're on our second. AC is a great place to work. It's a wonderful place to be.
To trust in Jesus, I've learned to trust in God. Let me tell you that through it all, oh, through it all, I've learned to depend upon his word.
Stephanie, she was 4 or 5 years old when her father and I went our separate ways. She grew up knowing her mother and her father. She spent time with his family, and so they're very close today, even after his death. She's a very well-adjusted young lady. I am very proud of her. I was a little bit upset that she elected to do small business, but she thought if her father could be a small business owner, she could be a small business owner. I kept talking about teaching because I know she would never do health careers. That is just not her world. Well, needless to say, I just kept talking, but she didn't respond. She finally decided she was going to Houston Community College. So she became adjunct instructor for them, and she's still there. I'm hoping she has decided that teaching is what she wants to do. Then I will have retired, and it will not be a complication for her to apply for a job. I think it would be a wonderful place to introduce her to the life I have enjoyed for so long. I went into nursing to be a bedside nurse, and I guess that's what got me into the real love for teaching, is that I might be able to save one patient, but if I teach, I might be able to save 20 patients. So you get excited about extending yourself through your students, that you could make a difference in so many people. I still love to occasionally find myself going to health careers where nursing is located. I do self-reflection. Then you renew, you can go back and handle anything. The first year, they thought I was going to play favorites to health careers, but I managed to convince them I serve all divisions. And in fact, there was a gentleman who came forward after the first 2 years and said, I really had my doubts that you were going to be able to separate yourself, but I'm convinced now that you belong to all of us. The greatest compliment, because it was wonderful to know that I had been able to grow and demonstrate that to them. Growing is what you do in education every day. Whatever the experience is, you should grow from it, whether you like it or not. You have to reflect a lot longer on those to see the point that should be positive out of that situation. But when you can do that, then you grow. And I tell students, it will happen. That's what life is about, always learning. So you must be prepared to learn something new every day. Keeps life interesting. I wouldn't want a stagnant existence. The first year, I insisted that I was going to teach nursing and I was going to do this position. Well, the roller skates weren't fast enough. I finally decided I just don't think I could run that fast for this long. Wherever I have been, people said, you're going to be better than probably you would dream. I've been blessed. My faith has become my foundation because my faith is the only thing that I can rely on all of the time. So every day have to get up with that thought. You put me here, now you have to make this day work out for me and anyone I come in contact with. Because I don't want to be a negative influence in anyone's life. The greatest achievement in my personal life, of course, will be my daughter and where she is. In my professional life will be having been given the opportunity to serve in so many places. I take no credit for it. Wherever I've been, it was a chance for me to demonstrate that you can do things. I was demanding for some of the early graduates, because they've come back and said, you know, you don't look that big now. So yeah, I have a few people come back and say that I gave them a hard time. I'm demanding in my Sunday school class because he put me here for a reason. Not for me, but to serve others. And whether it's at AC, out in the community, I hope that's what I'm doing. And so I keep hoping that what I say and do will accomplish the good that I should be doing. There will come a time when I will not be able to serve. And I want to be able to look back and say, I did everything that he opened the door to do, and he helped me do it. And so I am content to be where I am now. I have no regrets.
You can feel it now. Don't you know you're almost there?